If there was ever a game that defined this Illini football season, that was it. Illini beat Northwestern, take home the Land of Lincoln trophy, finish the season 8-4. Postgame show, let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini, the final regular season post-game show that we're going to do here at Locked On. My name is Lunney Verma, your host here, where I continue to provide you coverage each and every day on the weekdays, on the weekend, whatever it takes. There's Illini news to talk about. You will find it right here. Everything you see in here is absolutely free. Only thing I ask for in return is, if you don't mind, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And you know what? Hit the like button, or let me know in the comment section. Actually, let me know in the comment section if you've been with me here on these sports game shows. That's 12 games, at least half the time. Because I want to know who my everydayers are. Because I'm going to have a special treat for you guys in about a week or so when I can really announce that. But as I said, a game that, I mean, how else do I put it? You know, a game that maybe 2 or 3 times in the fourth quarter I thought the game was over. I mean, it's just, I'm laughing because I have no words to explain what I just saw. The defense was the dominant force today, which is irony because if you watch the show that I did just this time 1 week ago, I got more messages on that than any episode I've ever done, where it was just like 40 minutes of me going off on Brett Bielema, on our defensive coordinator, and some of the changes and the game plans that they put together. And here I am, 1 week later, 7 days later, telling you, well, those guys are also the reason that we won. Those players are the exact reason we won. Now, guys, don't get over emotional about this. My long-term views of this program have not changed. But unlike some people I've noticed, in particular the Talk Illini Discord, the people I've just discoursed with back and forth, they refuse to think that just because you want maybe a guy to go in a different direction from a guy, to give him his flowers. Because today, those defensive backs, Aaron Henry, you just have to give it to him. Who am I 1 week ago to call for his letting go, and then me not acknowledging just how well he played today or he coached today? If I wasn't able to do that, then my objectivity is out the window. My credibility is out the window. This team now finishes 8-4 on the season. And you know what? I don't know what to say. All the analytics were right. All of the Las Vegas was correct. They had it at 7.5. Our friends at FanDuel had it at 8.5. But basically, at the end of the year, this team performed exactly the way they were supposed to perform. Most of us had hope. Some of you had dreams on this season. But really, in actuality, as a buddy in the Talk Illini Discord mentioned, that this team had 4 losses this year. 2 of them to the number 1 team in the country and the number 2 team in the country. Not in the conference. But, I mean, yeah, the 2 teams meeting next Saturday, the Big Ten championship team, but also in the country. That's where half your losses came to this year. Now, granted, some of those losses were very bad. And last week basically ruined the potential to have a good season. Even I've said that. Once that happened, the best you can ask for was an average year in its entirety. Because, again, 8 wins. Those of you who call this a disappointing year, some of you actually told me it's a joke of a year. I don't know what you are expecting. This is a program now for back-to-back years has won 8+ games. They can still win 9 once we find out where we're going to a bowl game. Hopefully it's in Nashville. If it's in Nashville, hopefully I'll be making it out there. Let me know if you plan on making it out there. But really, I just want to give credit to, it's unfortunately the story of this game is going to be the weather. Crazy. You're talking about a snowball. It was chaotic. All the pictures you're seeing, all the videos that you're posting, as Carson Bounds is posting videos. I think one that Jeremy Warner posted has like 10 million views on it already. It was not an ideal environment. In fact, most people were suggesting this was going to play to Northwestern's strengths with their running game and our inability to stop one, with their offensive line and our inability to really put pressure on a quarterback. And yet what happened? Now, granted, Illinois got very fortunate. Their starting running back did not play at all in this game. And then their RB2 got hurt in the first drive that they had. So Northwestern for a while was, their RB2 only had 2 rushes I'm taking a look at. They essentially had no running game today. Well, they weren't supposed to. Their RB3, Robbie Preckle, had 22 attempts and 82 yards. And I think coming into the season, he only had like 40. But still, tell me if I'm wrong. The feelings that you have after this game, you can't be elated, but you can't be disappointed either, right? And that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I have this silly grin on my face if you're watching this on YouTube. You don't feel great about it, but at the same time, at the end of the season, now that we've reached the end, you just want to take a big collective sigh and relax. Because ultimately, there was a lot of good things that we saw from this football team today. A team that had gotten 0 interceptions outside Heckle all year long gets 4 today. I mean, it was a running joke. How many times I said in the Talk Illini Discord, oh boy, we're going to have the defense bail us out again. Because let's be honest, that offense was bad. I don't want to harp too much on it. And, but the plays the defense made is what's super important today. Miles Scott, Heckle, Heckles was actually called back. But you're just talking about being in the right place at the right time. All these plays, you're frustrated because where was that against Washington? Where was that in particular against Wisconsin? But it showed up today. And so ultimately, like how the seniors get the send-off that they deserve. Obviously that was the thing I was most disappointed about. This team, Luke Altmeyer, the seniors on this football team deserved a bigger walk-off than the crowd that showed up today. And this is not me disparaging the crowd at all. This is me being angry at the universe. When Luke Altmeyer came out for his introduction, it should have been 60,000 plus people in the stands cheering for him, sending him off. Snow just didn't allow that today. Let's be honest. We can talk about Luke. Luke had not a very good game. The offense in its entirety had a horrible game. This might be Barry Lunney Jr.'s worst game of the season. But again, somehow they become victorious in this game. They scored 20 points. There's a lot of people in a bad mood about the offense, and I get it. But someone also brought up to my attention that now that the Big Ten season is over, nobody scored more points against Ohio State defense than Illinois did, scoring their 16 points. I just thought that was noteworthy. Believe it or not, there's fans out there who think that you can upgrade from Barry Lunney Jr. right now. And you guys might be in the comments, and I'll address that in the next segment. You can have a bad game, but still be very, very good. Just take a look at the big picture. Look at where Illinois is when it comes to the analytics compared to the rest of the Big Ten since he's taken over. We've had one of the best offenses in the conference. So but at the same time, right? What makes me, I hate using this word, like I'm patting myself on the back. Credible, you guys decide if I'm credible or not. But what I want you guys to do is be able to trust me. I can come here after a game and say someone stunk without having an agenda in my head that I have to say he stunk because I don't like him. That's not what this show's about. This show is about, a lot of you guys watch these games alone. right? Maybe you're watching in the living room. The kids went to bed. And as soon as the game is over, you want someone to discuss this with. You want to pretend you're at a bar having a beer and you're talking with your buddy. And some of you are nice enough. You've told me via email. Like, that's the role I fill for you guys. And so I don't have any pre-designed of this convictions that, I want Aaron Henry gone. And so no matter what happens today, I have to say Aaron Henry stunk or I can't give him credit. That's not how this works. This defense on 4 straight drives, force 3 and outs or just cause turnovers. Give credit to those guys. Let me run this real quick. Let's get to your comments a little bit earlier today. Let's see. William says 0 for 4 on third downs, absolutely terrible. Also, Illinois offense was 13 yards in the fourth quarter. What was Lunney thinking? I don't know. Outside that first play where the Khalil Valentine touchdown, which was definitely a Lunney play, every time Barry Lunney Jr. tried his patented stuff, it just didn't work. They legit almost blew. It was so bad when we got that last interception. I think there was 2 minutes something left in the game. And I told my wife, all right, I'm going to go take the dog out real quick, let him relieve himself so I can come back and get ready for the postgame show. Thinking we had the game in hand. I go out, come right back in, and it's 4th down. I'm like, what happened? There's 30 seconds that went off the clock, and all of a sudden we're punting the ball again. And that was just a frustration of this entire game. They didn't let us rest until that final incompletion with 30 seconds left in the game. And even then, I had to double check and make sure that Northwestern didn't have any timeouts left. Game says, good W. Absolutely. Game's good. Say, take the W and take 8 and 4. There's no Illini fan ultimately should ever be disappointed with an 8 and 4 season. We've been praying for 8 and 4 seasons, even as soon as 2 years ago. You can't just let last year, which was a good thing in Illinois history, Illini football history, all of a sudden be the measuring stick for every season moving forward. 8 and 4 is a good year. If you're Alabama, sure. 8 and 4 is not ideal. If you're Oregon, Ohio State, fine. Be upset about 8 and 4. Do you think Wisconsin Badgers would take 8 and 4 right now? What about Nebraska? Nebraska finished 7 and 5. They just gave their head coach an extension for another $100 bajillion. You think they would take 8 and 4? Illini fans, and again, this is a good feeling. I understand the disappointment, but never apologize. College football is a very tough game. It is tough to win any game, especially if you're an Illinois fan. To win 8 out of 12? I understand the disappointment of not being able to, that the college football playoff dream being gone. And then especially that debacle against Wisconsin, we're all going to have a bad taste in our mouths for a long time after that game. I get it. And you know what? I am with you. But when we sit back and, I'll probably do a season review episode later on this week and highlight the goods and the bads. Ultimately, guys, if we go 8 and 4 almost every single year, that's our program becoming relevant. And that's what matters right now. We need to continue to stay in the conversation. Illinois next week is about to lock in its best recruiting class in years, over a decade. And why is that? It's because the trajectory is pointing up. Now, next year, we'll see what happens. And the negative Neds out there, they're going to say you're going to win 3-4 years in a rebuilding year, whereas I'm very confident we'll hit 6 wins at the very minimum. But the arrow's pointing up here. Purdue just went another year without winning a single Big Ten game. Not one. William says, yep, Illinois didn't really win. Northwestern lost. I mean, no, the defense won. It's one you can detract on the offense. I joked around that maybe there's something in Champaign that only one side of the football can have a good game. If the offense has a good game, that means the defense has to stink. If the defense is having a good game, then all of a sudden Barry Lunney Jr. Has no idea what he's doing. Phil says, got to at least show some love to the defense. Not just some love, Phil. All the love. All the love. You guys let me know who your MVP in the game is. Hit the like button, please, while you guys are here. We have almost 70 of you. I appreciate it. Check It Out says, that was a fun game to watch. Was it? I mean, I guess. It wasn't fun. But was the season fun? Sure. I obviously would have preferred us ending that game earlier when the opportunities presented itself. But ultimately, you want Luke Altmeyer to walk off the field probably for the last time as an Illini, because I can't imagine he's going to play the bowl game with a W, with a win. I wish he was able to score a touchdown today. That didn't quite happen for him, and he had some errors that it wasn't his best game. Let's put it politely. It wasn't his best game. But ultimately, he got what he wanted in the sense that he walks off that field as a winner. Paul says, defense won the game for sure. Chuck says, what a way to end the season. Felt like escaping with the win against Northwestern. Sure, but Northwestern's played a couple teams tough, Chuck. And again, don't apologize for winning. It's a rivalry games. When it comes to rivalry games, you just throw the records out. Does Northwestern still go to a bowl game? Yeah, they're at 7-5, right? Or is it 6-5? One of you guys can correct me. Uncle Phil's house is Miles Scott game. Absolutely. How many interceptions did he have? 2 interceptions. Almost had 3. He had 2 breakups, 3 solo tackles, 4 altogether. Jim says defense B+ to A-, offense C-. See, I would say defense B+, offense F. No, maybe not F. F is mean. D+. They did score a touchdown. I got to give them some credit, but it's unfortunate because all you needed was 1 first down at the end of that game on 2 or 3 possessions, and you just couldn't get it. Luke Altmeyer has not been the same Luke Altmeyer that we've been used to since that Wisconsin game. He missed some wide open throws today, including one to Hudson Clement. If SMU loses to Cal, they trail by 10 in the 4th, then Duke goes to the ACC championship game. Hey, again, it is what it is. St. Thomas says 8-4 seasons. How should we feel? I mean, St. Thomas, you know what? We don't always agree on everything, but I'm asking you, big picture wise, some of you who've been fans for a longer period of time, 8-4 is going to go down as one of the best seasons we've ever had. 8 wins is Brett's won 8 wins twice now, right? If I remember correctly. Last year, we won 9 in the regular season. The year before, it was 5. The year prior to that, it was 8. This is the most successful start in the Illini football head coach has had in a long time. But you know what's different? Is that now Illinois has the resources, has the commitment, and most importantly, well, maybe resources most importantly, but 1A, that's 1A, 1B, they have the leadership. They've got Josh Whitman. We've got Brett Bielema, who, let's be honest, is going to have to make a lot of tough decisions next week. How he decides to go, I don't know, but we're all going to be watching. Does he make changes? Who knows? He might wait till after the bowl game. I don't know. This is something for all of us to kind of sit here and wait. Check It Out says the weather played a huge role in making the offense look correct. Sure, but I mean, Northwestern's quarterback had a better game than ours, right? 19 for 36 for 163, whereas Luke was, 10 for 15 for 136. So I guess I stand corrected. Clearly, it wasn't an offensive game. You relied on your running backs. Khalil Valentine, 14 rushes for 74 yards. Aiden Lawfrey, 9 for 37. Fagan, 5 for 13 yards. Receiving, Hank Beatty had the most catches, 3 for 21. Colin Dixon, 2 for 53. Tanner Arkin, 2 for 33. And what a pass Hank Beatty had too. Tanner on that trick play. That was another Barry Lunney Jr. play that just happened to work. Ken, good friend of the show, emails me all the time. I appreciate you emailing me, Ken. By the way, all of you, talkalina@gmail.com. I always appreciate back and forth conversation with this community. I kept thinking that not trying for the field goal was going to come back to haunt us. Did you mean in the beginning of the game? The first one? but supposedly the wind was really, really bad, 30 miles per hour. Chris says Lunney's play calling the last 2 drives, the obscene or the play calling almost gave me a heart attack, but holy heck, 8+ back-to-back win season for the first time since 89-90. How many of you in this chat were born in 89-90? Real talk. I know this community tends to skew a little bit younger. A lot of you weren't born. So again, I don't mean to keep repeating myself because it's not going to last forever. But 8 wins by every measure is a successful season in this state of Illini athletics. If the over-under was 9.5, I can understand the idea of being disappointed. But I think you're disappointed because of, what writers were saying. And, they were ranked at number 9 at one time. We know, we've seen it. Let's be honest. If you watch my season preview, I said this wasn't an elite team because it didn't have enough elite players. And I think that kind of proved itself this season. Was there one elite player on this entire football team? I would say no. So that's why I never really thought of the team winning 10 or 11 games. And that's not me saying, circling back. Go watch the preview. I had us winning 9 games this year. We finished with 8. So it's, let's see. What else we got? Bend don't break doesn't work without turnovers. And yeah, exactly. No, I get it. Today it worked out. St. Dominic says, don't understand the terrible Minnesota team beat Wisconsin 4-8, Illinois 8-4. I don't know how to judge the program. Aaron Henry still needs to go or have a real defensive analyst he can study under. Yeah, the Aaron Henry thing, trust me, sir, all of you, we're going to be talking about that a lot this week. Superfan shout out by Drew. Drew, also a member of the Talk Illini Discord. So Superfan in the Discord called out. I said that I forgot what I said, but he called out the fumble that Northwestern was going to have right before it happened. So I don't know what kind of voodoo he was up to, but it worked. Uncle Phil's cow says, I'm disappointed the snow stopped at half. Chuck says, I don't know if I've ever seen a game with half the stadium closed. That was wild. Yeah, it's funny. Like my friends who aren't Illini fans, who just happen to be tuning into the game, we're all making fun of, like, there's nobody at this game. But apparently the other side, and if any of you are at the game, let me know. Apparently there was a pretty decent crowd on that one side, right? Because they forced everybody to be on the same side. Larry says, what bowl do you think we'll get? It's too early to say. I've heard the 2 Nashville ones are the ones that I'm hoping for. But, once we finally see how all this shakes out, who's in the CFP, et cetera, I'll be able to, give you some better options than that. St. Dom says, Sonny, 8 wins doesn't mean anything in a 12-team playoff. Bowl wins are insignificant. It's the Citrus Bowl. Nobody cares about bowls on the national stage. This is not 95 or 2005. It's 2025, 2026. I get what you're saying. But in order to get to college football conversations, you need to be relevant. And the way you are relevant is if you're winning 8 games every single year, it's a lot easier to get in-state talent. It's a lot easier for your recruiting rankings. It's not by accident that Illinois is about to lock down its best recruiting class in 15 years coming off of last year's win. And I'm curious to see what next year's recruiting class is going to look like. It's a lot easier getting the better players in your program when they think that your program is going to win more games than it loses. That it's going to have an opportunity to, potentially make it to January bowl game. Maybe the CFP. Making the CFP is going to be very difficult. If that's your standard, how many Big Ten teams are going to make the CFP this year? Realistically, 3, maybe 4. If your standard from this point moving forward is, are you going to be one of the 3 best teams in the Big Ten Conference? I apologize. I just don't know if that's going to be realistic for a while. Maybe if we still had the same settings that we did before with the Big Ten West, and we had a poor division that you could take advantage of. But right now, what you're saying is that this team needs to surpass Ohio State, surpass Oregon, even right now, surpass Indiana. Ohio State and Indiana are literally the 2 best teams in the country right now. Oregon has more resources than any other team in the country right now. Michigan can outspend anybody in the country right now. I'm not saying it can never be done, but to say that that has to be the standard, that you have to make a top 3 or top 4 slot in the Big Ten Conference. Because look, if the college football playoff had 12 slots and the Big Ten got 10 of them, I'd be with you. I'd be like, yeah, you want to be in that conversation more often than not. But that's not always going to be the case. Big Ten got 4 teams last year. This year, I'm really only confident they're going to get 3. They might be able to sneak in a 4. So just all I'm saying is keep that context in mind. And by the way, you guys let me know whether you agree with me or whether you agree with St. Dominic's. I'll get to more of your comments right after this. All right. Ducky says Illinois has come a long way to be disappointed in an 8-win season. Hopefully before next year, they can get some studs on both lines and the defensive backfield. They're going to have to. It's a huge rebuilding year. We're going to have some brand new faces on the offensive line, some brand new faces on the defensive line, maybe some brand new faces on the sidelines. It's going to be fun offseason. You know, last year we talked about how big of a deal it was that we were bringing everybody back. There was not a lot of roster construction. I mean, the biggest question was, even though Luke announced he was coming back, when Tennessee had that vacancy, all the whispers were the Volunteers were going to spend out the wazoo and to bring Luke into Knoxville, where they play. And ultimately, it didn't happen. But there wasn't a lot of roster turnover. This year, during this offseason, there's going to be a lot of roster turnover to talk about here on Lockdown. SDR says you can definitely upgrade from Barry Lunney Jr. I don't agree, but that's what I love about this show. We don't always have to agree. So this is what annoys me. Illinois beats a crap 6-5 Northwestern team that they're better than. Now Illinois is Georgia. Oh, I don't care. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Henry says Henry had a good second half, but half a game shouldn't be enough to keep him. Jason, 100% agree with you. No, and if I have come across as if I'm implying anything else other than that, let me know. But no, all I'm saying is he had a good game today. Check it out. It says losing football is one thing, but the way we lost some of those games still leaves a sour note. Glad to have an 8-win season. Check it out. 100%. I get it. When you lose that badly to Indiana, I think at that point we were crossed off any opportunity to make a college football playoff. But then having that disappointing game against Washington, and then certainly Wisconsin was just the nail in the coffin. Jason says, Lunney not using Lawfrey after he was only one having any success against a loaded box is criminal. Trying so hard to force Valentine down our throats, and he hasn't been the same since his injury. I mean, Khalil was 14 for 74 today, Jason. Averaging 5.3 yards a carry. He scored a touchdown. Khalil is our best running back. I don't think there's any doubt. Aiden, I think Aiden is maybe slightly above average. Caden's about average. I think Khalil is the only one who has star power when it comes to the running backs that we have. 8-4 doesn't mean anything overall in the aspect of college football in 2025, 2026. It's a loser mentality. Indiana's not happy with 8-4. Indiana is a blue blood, and Illinois is not. Again, it's context. If I say this respectfully, because I'm not judging you if you are. If your only definition, this is not the NBA. This is not the NFL, where every school has every team has every opportunity to win a championship. Illinois is playing a very different game than these other programs that you're talking about. There's no salary cap when it comes to what the resources Oregon and Ohio State have is not the same that Northwestern, Illinois, Maryland, etc. have. So that's what I mean when I talked about that earlier. In order to make the college football playoff, if that's your only definition of relevancy, then you're probably right. Maybe Illinois will never be fully relevant by that definition, because I don't know. I can't imagine even in the best case scenario that Brett Bielema has us in the college football playoff every year. That's really hard to do. I know. I'm going to say it again. Curt Cignetti. I hear it all the time. Curt Cignetti has broken people's brains. That has never been done before. It may never happen again. This "why not me" is happening on campuses everywhere right now. You think we're the only ones? You don't think Florida right now is pointing at Curt Cignetti and saying, hey, look, if he can do that in Indiana, why can't we find our Curt Cignetti? Florida has 10 times the amount of resources that we do. Penn State has 10 times the amount of resources that we do. You don't think they've noticed what's going on in Indiana? I understand that, Indiana's close to us. They're a Big Ten rival. But you can't compare yourself to an anomaly. Tell me, you compare Curt Cignetti's first 2 years of coaching D1 football to any other great coach. Nick Saban, I'm talking about the greatest of greats. They fall short of Curt. So again, I'm not judging you if this is what you want to do. But if that's your standard, then I apologize, because I almost in a way feel bad for you, because there's no way this Illinois program can live up to that standard. And that's not a loser mentality. That's me being real, me understanding context, the environment that Illinois is playing in. The field isn't level. If you want Illinois to perform like Indiana does, then find the donors who will invest into Illinois like Curt Cignetti and that Indiana program have. The Mark Cubans, the pharmacy companies out in Indiana. Those guys are pumping $25 million into Indiana. We're not getting that same level of commitment from from Illinois. Is that Brett Bielema's fault? No, I don't think it is. Maybe you think it is. Maybe you think it's Josh Whitman's fault. I don't think so. I think Brett, in the current context, that's why I'm not going to apologize for 8-4. 8-4 to me does matter. Finding App says, don't forget to smash that like button, everyone. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Game says, miserable people will be just that. Jason says, no offense, but you have been all over Sig's junk all year. Just go be a Hoosier. Exactly. I don't blame you. Oh, here we get another comment. Are you kidding me, dude? If Illinois goes 8-4 every year, then we are Minnesota or Iowa irrelevant on the national stage. Have fun being the annual Music City Bowl. We just won 10 games last year, man. We won 10 games and we beat an SEC team in a January bowl. And we followed that up with another 8-win season, potential to win 9. If you don't think that's nationally relevant, I don't know what to tell you. Geese is not donating $100 million for 8-4. Correct. For the record, we haven't received the money yet. So let's see how things improve. We have to see the work of that $100 million first, right? We haven't had the upgrade to the facilities yet, et cetera. Right now, nothing has changed. Just the announcement that a donation is going to be made. Anthony says, it's so strange. I'm totally frustrated after a legitimately successful year. Big picture, the arrow's pointing up for the program. Anthony, that's it. I mean, that should be, and I say this personally, that should be the mood moving forward. Saint says, I'm sorry, my friend, but what Cignetti has done should be studied. It's unbelievable. I'm still in shock. Forgive me. Indiana's turnaround is absolutely amazing. Exactly. Nobody's disputing that, but it has never been done before. So to compare it that way, it's tough. $10 Tommy, my good friend who hates the Illini, says Rick Barnes is going to stuff Brad and Tyler in a locker next week. Thank you for jumping in to tell me that. Finding Yap says, I'm an 87 baby. All right. Another 80s baby like myself. Also, this is Ostrich. Oh, Ostrich. Hello. Hello, miss. I met Ostrich at the Ohio State pregame. Jason says, I've seen games since 1980. I'm an old dog and seen the good, the bad, and ugly of Illinois football. I always enjoy having conversations with Jason, even though him and I don't necessarily agree. All right, let's get to a couple comments here. Let's see. Jason says, likely Vegas or Nashville with the win today. If they would have lost, it would have been the pinstripe. Guys, sorry, I'm trying to go through comments as quickly as I can. I usually have to keep it under 40 minutes here. Check it out. It says, Sonny's right. We have to count our blessings. Baby steps forward. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but yeah. H. Hartman says, just be able to dream of playing in the college football playoff. I think it's going to happen. I do believe it's going to happen. I don't want you thinking that I don't think that should be the goal at some point. I disagree with some of you, apparently, that should be the expectation every single year. 5 years ago, we were praying to be Iowa and Wisconsin. We were praying to win 8 to 10 games every single year. And now we're there, and people saying that that's not good enough. And maybe ultimately, we'll see. But again, it depends on where you want to set the bar. Jason says, Gabe officially Big Ten sack leader for the season with 11. Really? Wow. Next guy is 10.5. If he wasn't criminally misused, it would have been many more. Yeah. So Jason and I, we agree on this. I know a lot of people hate on Gabe Yakas and his performance in a lot of the games this season, but Gabe didn't have the season he did because of the scheme that he was put in. He wasn't given the opportunity to. All right, Jason, Illinois is going to replace 40-plus players next year. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be interesting. Signetti has definitely broken my brain. It's all love, St. Dominic's. You know it. I always appreciate you in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you in the chat. I try to come back in here and get to every single comment. Good luck finding another Signetti. That's simply just not going to happen. Kami says, just win 8 games a year and I'll be happy. I'll be content, right? Let's be honest. We won't be happy winning 8 games, but I will be content for a while. Let's sprinkle in a 10-win season every now and then. Maybe make it to the last week, be involved in the college football playoff conversation. That's what I want. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the final regular season college football live post game. I wanted to say one more time, I appreciate each and every one of you. There's a reason we're already the second biggest Illini channel in all of YouTube, the second most downloaded when it comes to audio downloads. And we've been around for less than 2 years. And the reason being is because of you guys. During basketball season, I'll have 500-600 people on a live stream together. College football season, I understand some of us are disappointed, but you guys are still here. And it's because you guys continue to share this channel with your friends. You guys hit the like button on whenever you guys do see me pop up on your feed. I just want to know that now that I wrap up my second season of covering college football with you guys, that I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope that you continue to join me during the offseason. And look, we've got looks like what's going to be a crazy college basketball season to discuss moving forward. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, ILL. Love you guys.